Thank you, Chairman Womack and Chairwoman Lowy. Members of the Joint Select Committee on Budget and Appropriations Reform, thank you for the opportunity to testify before you today. First, I'd like to begin by extending my sincere appreciation for the work of this Select Committee. You all have been tasked with accomplishing an incredibly important job, fixing the broken Federal budget process. As a freshman member of the House Budget Committee, I received quite an education over the last 18 months about how we conduct business here in Congress. We lurch from one CR to the next, an average of 4 per year. Since our budget process was last overhauled in 1974, the government has been shut down more than 20 times. In fact, the 12 required appropriations bills have passed on time just once in 43 years. Particularly when contrasted with my experience as a business owner and then as a state legislator in Pennsylvania, I think it's fair to say that the wheels have completely come off our annual budgeting process. But you already know that, and you know the results. A crushing debt that threatens our security and our economic vitality, a system that is failing the American people, and a rather bleak outlook for our kids and grandkids if we can't change the trajectory. We come here to solve big problems, and it's not too late to place this country on a fiscal path, on a sound fiscal path. We can do it, and we must. I've come to believe that it must start with reforming the process. We must reform the budget process and reform the way Congress works to achieve the results that we need. And I also happen to believe that this Commission is our best opportunity in a long time to do so. My purpose today is to share the experience of a commission in the Pennsylvania legislature that worked, that took on a similar systemic, long-term problem and found solutions. In fact, it had worked so well that I thought it was a good model to tackle budget reform, and before the establishment of this Select Committee, had introduced legislation that would have established a similar joint commission. My hope is that sharing how it worked in Pennsylvania will spark a few thoughts or ideas that could be useful to you in your work and your ultimate success. So just a little background. The committee in Pennsylvania was the Basic Education Funding Commission and was tasked with determining a new formula to distribute education dollars to 500 districts all across the state. Everyone agreed, similar to what we have here, that the current system was completely broken, but multiple attempts to fix it over a period of 30 years had produced absolutely no results. The commission was formed, worked for about 16 months, then provided a unanimous recommendation, which was taken up by the legislature, then passed and signed into law by the governor. As chair of the State Education Committee at that time, I was a member of the commission and sponsor of the final bill. Several things about the commission were important and may be helpful. The makeup of the committee was important. It was bipartisan and bicameral. It was an inside committee like this, 3 members from each party in each house, including the chairs of the relevant committees. It also included 3 members of the executive branch, including the budget secretary and the education secretary. All of the key decision makers were in the room and were included in the process. The process itself was equally important. All deliberations were open and were transparent. And in our case, we held multiple hearings across the state, inviting anyone who wanted to participate to testify and provide input, including experts from other states, educators, and even members of the general public. That not only provided the best thinking available, but also created a loud echo chamber across the state and buy-in from all stakeholders. Remarkably, the work of the commission in Pennsylvania spanned 2 administrations, Republican and Democrat. Members from the executive branch changed midway through the process. Even so, the recommendation was unanimous and was fully endorsed by the new governor. Sticking to the original purpose of the commission was also critical. It was tasked with finding a formula, but during hearings received a lot of pressure to increase the scope of its work. We worked really hard to keep the goal narrowly focused on the specific problem that we wanted to fix. While your commission may not be designed in exactly the same way as ours in Pennsylvania, I know it can work and that you can make a difference. I applaud you for your work and believe this is the best opportunity we have to fix the broken Federal budget process and deliver real, systemic, and meaningful budget reforms. I look forward to the work that you're doing and to supporting you in the best way that we can in the legislature. We share a common goal of wanting to fix the troubled state of our nation's fiscal health, and that starts with reforming the broken Federal budget process. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Smucker, for your testimony this morning.